GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. KUAM News Storm Tracker Update.
Good morning, Guam, and thanks for starting your day the KUAM way here. Starting lineup. Every weekday morning we do a Facebook Live show, and today's my show, GroupChat. And, you know, there's one thing we're all talking about this morning, and that's the weather. So we're taking you to weather ground zero here at the National Weather Service with my favorite meteorologist, Mr. Chip Gard here. Morning, Chip.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good. So I know everyone's waking up. We were able to sit in on your governor, and I know we got some good news coming up. But I guess just first off, if you could just give us the status on Super Typhoon Hagibis.
Hagibis, yes.
Not Hagrid. I've been saying Super Typhoon Hagrid.
Now, did everybody enjoy their Tiyan weather? So anyway, the storms moved through the Mariana Islands, heading away. It went across Anatahan volcano last night, and now it's moving away toward Japan. It's a very strong storm, Category 5, a super typhoon. Winds up around 160 miles per hour with gusts up around 195 miles per hour.
So did this storm come together pretty quick in your estimation?
Well, it came together pretty quick, but it was pretty well forecast. I mean, it was already north of Pohnpei when it started coming together. And the fact that it was moving about 18 to 20 miles an hour doesn't give you a whole lot of time. So instead of taking 4 days like it would normally do, it took a couple of days. So it's moving.
Is that a kind of a new trend that we're seeing with the last few, that they're forming quicker and moving through an area quicker?
Well,
is that something new?
They have been moving quicker than they used to move, but I don't know if that's an artifact of anything. It's just the way the steering is this year. But 10 to 12 miles an hour is a more normal speed of movement. But so anyway, so it's moving through, and fortunately, it's been right on track pretty much north of Saipan and Tiyan, and so we had them and the northern islands into a typhoon warning. First a typhoon watch and then a typhoon warning. They got near typhoon conditions in Saipan, I'm sure, and some of the other islands, Alamagan and Pagan, probably had some typhoon conditions. But we're all very fortunate that the storm took the path that it did, because the path it took minimized the damage on any of the islands with populations on them. So anyway, it's moved through, and it's peaked at 160 miles per hour, and now it's going to start to weaken. And one of our concerns when these things weaken is that the wind field starts to expand. But this is moving away fast enough, I think, that the wind field, even though it expands.
The last few, when we've declared Core 4, some people remarked that, wow, it's windier than it was when it was Core 3.
That happens, but when we put out warnings, we're putting them out for damaging winds, okay? And it's like insurance. So we don't always get the damaging winds, but the potential is certainly there for the damaging winds. And then after we drop the warnings, we might see the worst conditions that we got, but we're dropping the warnings based on the fact that we won't see damaging winds.
So our CPA was 1 in the morning. I know most of Guam was asleep by then. So what kind of conditions did we get at that point of the closest point of approach?
Well, the winds did pick up pretty good, and I think we saw our peak winds. I think we had a gust of 58 miles per hour. And so we had tropical storm conditions for a couple hours during that period. And then the winds died down quite a bit. But if you go to the coastal areas that are open to the ocean, it's a little blustery out there.
What about Saipan? I see you got some data from Saipan out there.
Well, we did. We talked to people up in Saipan, and the winds are still blowing pretty good up there. But I think they probably got minimal typhoon conditions at some point, but the storm is closer to them, and we'll probably be pulling them out of the warning sometime this afternoon. The damages everywhere was minimal, and so I think we're all fortunate for that. Of course, Saipan's done a lot of building up there since they had the last two storms, and so they're substantially stronger than they were, 5 years ago. So I think they came through pretty well, and Rhoda, we talked to people on Rhoda, we talked to the people in Tiyan. So I think everybody came out of this one pretty well.
Were you able to talk to anyone in Alamagan?
No. But Saipan does talk to them on HF radio, so and they're all down in their bunkers, Alamagan, Pagan, and Andagrigan. So they just had a supply ship that went up there. It came back about 2:00 in the morning a couple of days ago, and so they go up quarterly and drop off 3 months worth of supplies to the people that are up there. So.
You guys called it. We did an interview, I want to say maybe a month and a half ago with Landon about, the season is here, and this is the time of the year where we're going to see these storms.
Yeah, no, we put out our predictions in July, and we were pretty well convinced, since we're going into an ENSO neutral kind of pattern, that the storms would be concentrated in October, November, and December. So hopefully we're wrong, but it certainly looks like that's the way it's going to pan out.
It's one of those jobs where being wrong is actually okay.
Well, it helps your credibility
Right.
if you're right. So,
right. So is anything else out there? I know it's kind of soon. We just got through this one, but is there anything else that you guys are monitoring?
Well, we're always monitoring stuff, and there is an area out to the east that we're monitoring, east of or west of Kwajalein, and also another one out near the date line. So, yeah, this one gets out of the way, we'll be watching them all. Hopefully they'll not bother us. But as we go into late October, November, the area that they develop in is going to start moving south, and that's going to make them a bigger threat to not only us, but the other islands of Micronesia.
So we were able to kind of overhear you briefing the governor just a couple of minutes ago, and can you tell us the nature of that briefing?
Well, we've had a lot of those briefings with this storm, and the nature is that she has to make some critical decisions. So she has her staff there, and I've been able to get over there and do most of the briefings live, but occasionally we have to go into the telephone. But it's just to keep her appraised of the situation so that she can make the kinds of decisions she needs to make, and we want to make sure she has all the ammunition she needs.
Well, there you go. And so I know Chip doesn't want to let the cat out of the bag, but from what we were able to overhear with the briefing, the governor did indicate that she would be sending the all clear out at 10 a.m. So enjoy your day off, Gov Guam. And so, yeah, you guys are going to be working pretty hard. And I know there's, it's been kind of growing pains with you got a new administration, making a lot of these storm calls. But what's I don't want to use the word danger, but people get these warnings and then nothing happens. And then over time, they just, do they start to ignore them?
Well, no, I don't think they start to ignore them. Like I said, they're like insurance. And, you don't get upset if your house doesn't burn down at the end of the year, or you
Right.
don't total your car, do you?
Right.
So that's what these are. And we let people know when they're marginal calls, and these are marginal call. We're close to the edge of damaging winds,
Right.
and when we're close to the edge, sometimes the military has their requirements. We have our requirements, so sometimes they don't go into the same condition of readiness that we do, and but they're all working off the same information, and there's a very close working relationship between the civilian community and the military community. So, I think people here are fairly well attuned, and they expect. They looked out this morning, and it didn't look like anything they wanted their kids waiting for the school bus in. So, I don't think we had any problems with this warning.
Right, definitely. And so, people get those supply kits. I've had one ready since like the 5th storm back. So we're just in perpetual state of readiness.
That's right. You thank God you didn't have to use it.
Right. Yeah.
So.
But I think it's also interesting. There's kind of a whole generation that hasn't experienced a big storm because we haven't had one in a while.
Well, that's true, but we try to educate as many people as we can, and we show them pictures, and the older folks will tell the younger.
Us, you mean people like us?
What are you, the older or the younger?
So weather balloon, can you take us to go check that out? Maybe one of your guys.
Yeah, one of our guys can show you where we launch from and stuff like that. I don't think we'll be able to launch another weather balloon, but you're welcome to come over about 3 o'clock, and we will do a live launch then.
The feds are wild. You can't just be shooting off weather
We
balloons.
just can't be shooting. It's $300 a shot,
Right.
and so no, we're very conscious about not wasting taxpayers' money.
So is this where's this imaging coming from? And
Well,
before
this is from the Japanese Himawari geostationary satellite that sits up about 23,000 miles in the air over the equator, and it's going around the same speed of the Earth. So it gives us 15-minute, 30-minute pictures of what's going on. And then this is the Doppler weather radar over there, so you can see the eye in the radar up there, even though it's over 200 miles away. And so the Earth is curved, so the radar beam's going out straight, so we're shooting up at 40,000 feet above. But because the typhoon is vertical, really these strong ones are, the center up there is going to be the same, pretty much the center down at the surface.
is this storm going to be something that we read about hitting Japan or anything in a few days?
Well, there could be hitting Japan in a few days. I thought it might go east of Japan, but I've seen the last prognostications from models, and it looks like it's going into southern Japan.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and head out and check out that weather balloon. Give you guys a little something extra
Okay. Hey, do
this
me a
morning.
favor, make sure the governor can put the word out before you put the word out. She might change her mind. You never know.
You never know. Hey, so it's a work in progress, Like we got this saying, if you don't like the weather on Guam, wait a minute, it'll change. All right, so who's going to take us to go see this weather balloon?
Thank you.
You want to go out?
Yeah.
Take them out. That way you can take motion pictures.
Jason wants to go out to make it worth the gas money.
Pictures, half the time it's on a selfie.
Popular angle nowadays.
Okay, well, thanks for coming
Hey,
by.
thank you, Chip. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to get Landon. I don't know, every time we do a show with you, our female viewership spikes by 23%. So
Just 23?
that's it, yes. It's pretty significant, man. So do you guys have a weather balloon up there now?
Oh, we launched one about 9 o'clock this morning, so it's been up in there for a little while. It's 9:37. So we launch these balloons twice a day at 9 o'clock in the morning and 9 o'clock in the evening. And these balloons go up all across the United States and across Micronesia to collect data in the atmosphere, because we get a lot of information from the airport over here. We have automated sensors, and there's a vast network of data being collected across the United States. Of course, we're all water in our region.
Right.
So we have that lacking bit of atmospheric information. So we have the automated sensors here at the surface, but we also want to know what's going on in the atmosphere, because that gives us a snapshot of what actually happens above the surface.
Right.
So we get these snapshots every day, twice a day across Micronesia. That's Majuro, Kwajalein, Pohnpei, Chuuk, Yap, Palau, and Guam. But when we have a typhoon in the area or a tropical cyclone developing, obviously we need more data. So we do these balloon launches 4 times a day, every 6 hours, because all that data gets collected and it gets transmitted to Washington, where it goes into our numerical weather models. The more data that we have, the more better our forecasts. So we have our balloon set up inside of there. We have a hydrogen generator, so we use hydrogen because it's lighter than oxygen.
Wow.
And allows it to go up. If that is malfunction, we have helium, and we can put the balloon helium into the balloon, help it get that released. They go about 100,000 feet up in the atmosphere, collect data all the way up. Eventually it pops, it shreds, and comes back down to the
And then
surface.
people think it's a UFO.
Sometimes they do. We used to put glow sticks on them on the night release so we could watch it go up in the sky. We sometimes get messages or calls about something floating in the atmosphere.
There you
I don't
go.
know what it is, but
Mythbusters.
I think the door is shut right now, but what it is, we hook it up to the machine. We don't have a balloon in there right now, but they will package it and put it together about 45 minutes prior to the release and really blow it up. It's a very large balloon. We have that large garage
What are the
door.
measurements on that?
I don't know exactly the measurements, but
5 feet, 10 feet?
about 5 to 10 feet.
Okay.
But as it goes up in the atmosphere, it gets about the size of a school bus because it expands with altitude. So we need every bit of that garage door to get that balloon out because it's going to be a very large balloon.
So there isn't like a hydraulic roof that opens?
No, we don't have that type of fanciness here.
Right.
But can it lift a little kid up? Well, if you're holding the balloon, it will pick your arm up. You can feel that lift on it. So they're designed to go up high in the atmosphere and collect all that data for us.
Well, there you go. That was a little weather balloon 101 for you guys. Landon, really appreciate. I know you guys got a lot of work to do in monitoring that system that Chip was talking about. So thanks for starting your day the KUAM way. Here with Landon. Thanks to Chip and all the people here at the National Weather Service. My name's Chris Estajos.